Yes.
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes. In the Paddock F1, green the cheese. The holiday season. And what better place to go than the fantasy island of Rito? When the beer flows like wine, the wine flows like beer. And oh yes, those cannabis Christmas trees, they grow as far as the eyes can see. Look at it. Look at it. Green and luscious. Take a little whiff. That air smells fantastic. We're not taking a walk to the top of the hill today, boys and girls. This is a special In the News episode.
In the news. I like the off-season news. First of all, happy everything. Happy winter solstice and all that comes with it. We are here enjoying the off-season. It has just begun. Max Verstappen champ. McLaren takes their first title in 28 years. Yippee-ki-yay. And as we thought from like day one all season, when was it going to happen? They did it appropriately. It seems as if on paper, Sergio Perez is just stepping back and taking some time off. Christian Horner was asked even, I think, today or yesterday or within the last 24 hours if Sergio Perez is going to race again next year or anytime soon, and he really scoffed at it. He really scoffed at it. But he scoffed at a few things. We're going to get to all of that. But geez, this is the big news. Sergio Perez, a guy who finished second in the Drivers' Championship just 1 year ago. What happened? What took so long? And how do you feel about Liam Lawson replacing him?
Well, there's a lot of things to unpack there, to be honest. One, Sergio stepping aside. Did he really step aside, or was he kind of forced out, and that's just what they came out and said? But
quite Biden-esque.
Yeah. But to be honest, this has probably been going to happen because he didn't start out bad. He didn't start the season out bad.
No,
Sergio Perez. But once they got out of China and the Red Bull kind of dropped off, his confidence just went in the tank.
Once the car wasn't
the car changed,
that was by far.
Yes.
It's
like after China when everything kind of changed with the Red Bull, and then it just fell apart from him. You know, he lost the car. I mean, Red Bull, I'm sure, tried everything they could to get him right. I mean, they gave him the contract extension not because they gave it to him to try and give like a confidence boost, like to try and get him back on track, and that blew up in their face too. So it was just domino, and it was just a disaster, and there was really no coming back from it. I mean, this is a team that easily probably could have won the constructors' title if Sergio Perez scores points. You know, if he gets top 5 finishes throughout the season,
it would have been a no-brainer. I think it would have been a great challenge, but I don't think McLaren would have been within 50 points.
I mean, so, you know, if he scores top 5 through the whole season, it's totally different for, you know, they're winning the drivers and the constructors probably again. So Red Bull needs somebody in that seat that's going to put up points. Now, is Liam Lawson the right person for that? That's to be seen. I mean, he did struggle. He was started off the first couple of races when he took over for Danny pretty good, and then kind of fell right off. Another thing to unpack here. Well, my pick would have been to go after a different driver when everybody was going, when silly season was on. Right. That would have been the best.
12 months ago, they should have did something.
Like, you know, something, or even if you went after even mid-season areas. Sainz hadn't signed yet, like mid-season yet. He hadn't signed with Williams yet, so he was still available.
That was a no-brainer. Even after he signed with Williams, I think Red Bull could have peeled him away. They could have figured something out. But
here's something else to think of too, with the decision also to have Liam Lawson take that seat. That's basically saying F you to Yuki. You're never getting the Red Bull seat.
I got some opinions on that. But I want you to finish unpacking.
Honda is coming in with Aston Martin. So is Yuki then going to go to Aston because he does have the Honda connection?
We'll
Something to
see.
think of there.
What does Alonso have in his contract? One more year.
I believe. Well, there's no guarantee. Stroll's always rumored to be walking away anyway, too.
No, he's not going anywhere. Lance Stroll's not going anywhere. I know they talked about like the Aston Martin Supercar Series or whatever. He's not going anywhere. Lance Stroll is going to be the second seat driver forever and ever. So that's it. I'm not saying that like I'm saying that as factual matter. But you were unpacking, and I stopped you from unpacking. My apologies. I jumped in there.
That's all right.
To finish unpacking.
Well, to answer the other question
Perez
too, that Horner scoffed at. Rumor has it, Sergio Perez is already in advanced talks to be in Ferrari's hypercar for Le Mans and to run that series next year. So he might have a job sooner than later. He's taken a step away from F1, but there was no seats to have in F1. I don't think it would have been disrespectful to drop him down to the junior team. That would have been a even bigger slap in the face.
They were not going to do that.
It was either out the door, and that's about it.
But he could have, in a different parallel universe, made a decision. Carlos Sainz comes to Red Bull. They make a decision earlier in the season. Sergio Perez ends up with Williams. He'll still get a nice payday. He'll still be with a respectable team and not a junior team that looked at times on its way up. But all that's out the window because you waited as long as freaking possible. You stuck your head in the freaking sand. And I don't know if the Christian Horner, which is so far in the rearview mirror, the Christian Horner drama from 10 months ago, where he was on his way out. Who knows how that prevented the situation from gaining a foot here, that Sergio Perez could have ended up getting fired if, when your boss is on the hot seat, it's not a good time to get rid of people, especially someone like Sergio Perez. And regardless of his driving, we all know people that aren't good at their job, right? They're not good at their job, but you like them. And everyone liked Sergio. I never heard a bad word about Sergio.
No,
Perez.
he was well liked in the team.
There's never been a scandal. There's never been anything about him. Never like some freaking TikTok video about him being rude to a waiter or some bullshit like that. There's been nothing. There's been nothing. So everyone likes the guy. So you really don't want to fire him. But, and technically, I guess they didn't. He's just walking away. So, after signing an extension. But whatever. So, Sergio's done. So now let's talk about...
Really, is it, was it the walk away, or was it, walk away or you're fired? We'll never know that answer.
We will know one day, but not anytime soon. And it'll all be rumor. It'll be rumored till the end of time. I don't think it's even worth worrying about. In the end, because the end result is Red Bull did the right thing, and Sergio Perez did the right thing, right? Walk away. Just walk away. You don't have it anymore. It's okay. You're talking about the top of the cream of the crop of drivers on the planet, and you're not one of them anymore, but you were one of them. So pat yourself on the back. You had a long career in Formula One. You had wins. You finished second in the Drivers' Championship. You were part of several Constructors' Championships. Like, hang your freaking trophies on the wall. Go back to your gigantic mansion with your beautiful wife and enjoy life, or get back in a car again. But Formula One is past you, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being just outside of the best drivers in the world. That's where he is. He's just outside of the best drivers in the world. Like a lot of guys proved to be this year. Like Danny Ricciardo proved to be this year.
Yeah.
Like other drivers have. Not everyone can have that perfect ending where you go out on top. Usually doesn't happen. Ever.
Usually does not. No.
Usually does not. You don't get that fairy tale walk-off ending. And even when guys could have. And should have. That's where we're at. So, Yuki or Liam, that's the buzz, that's the talk. Gun to your head right now.
Oh, it's already been announced. Liam's taking the scene.
No. I'm talking about your opinion. I'm talking about your opinion.
Oh, my opinion? I don't like either of them, to be honest. I wouldn't want either of them to see to be. But that's the
That's
choice
not
you
the
get.
choice, though. It's not the choice. It's like voting for the president of your country. They all stink, but you need one of them. And there's no other option, I don't
Well, I don't
think.
know about the behind the scenes, but
Or is there
Mhm.
another option? Will Liam Lawson end up actually starting the season? More importantly, will Liam Lawson end up actually finishing the 2025 season in Red Bull?
Well, that's a bigger question than the first one. Will he be in the seat to start? Yes. There's nobody else really out there to go. Are you going to go after like Valtteri Bottas or something? I think his time in Formula One is over as well. So
Yeah, his head's not in the game anymore.
yeah. So I mean, from what I understand, it also is that Yuki rubbed a lot of people the wrong way at Red Bull recently. Not like a while ago, like recently. Like engineers at Red Bull, he rubbed them the wrong way. And I think that played into the decision to put Liam in that seat versus Yuki, but Yuki's also very inconsistent. He'll give you those flashes when he'll do something, but then it just all falls apart again. So
Yeah,
if I would have probably chose Liam Lawson over Yuki to be honest myself with
yeah. From
those
the
two
insider's
choices.
perspective, word I'm hearing is not mature. Well, that's multiple words. Immature, right? Let's go with
Yeah,
immature.
yeah,
And that we're talking about someone that is obviously extremely talented. But I think also in the end, Liam Lawson's numbers in the nitty gritty were slightly better than Yuki's. They were. And but you can tell that Christian Horner's expectations of where Yuki Tsunoda should be right
yeah.
now and where he's not meeting expectations
No,
in Christian Horner's eyes, and that's all that matters. So I think Horner
right,
had a shit year in life last year, not in Red Bull, which I think created a
all right.
situation. Um, but if Formula One wants to be freaking great in 2025, to have Red Bull and McLaren and Ferrari all in
And
tip-top
Mercedes
competitive
all going
shape.
for it. Yeah, that's what they want.
I mean, sorry to exclude the 8 straight constructor championships, Merc. Um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
yeah, they want the four team fight for everything. This might end up being this next season might end up being like one of the closest seasons ever. Like everything might come down to the final week, the final race this year, because everything is going to be so much closer for the entire season. The end of the season, everything was very close between the four teams. Really,
yes, but it
you
was
went into
not at the
every
beginning of last
weekend.
season. It was not.
Yeah, no, but at the end of the season, the last even half of the season, everything closed up big time. Last quarter of the season, you didn't know who out of the four teams was going to win each weekend going into it. So having that regulation changes aren't really anything that much going into next season. There's some minor changes, but not a lot.
Yeah,
So
outside of
those four teams could be very close for the entire season. And that would be one hell of a season then.
one
Coming
hell
home
of a
from
season.
25.
Listen. With last season, starting the 2024 season or this past season, or whatever it is, it was business as usual for Red Bull all the way to up until Monaco. Um, Maybe even Spain, right? Where
Miami's kind of when the wheels started to come off.
yeah, but there was still almost like you kind of felt like, oh, Red Bull's going to come back and win 7 straight,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you really felt that.
Yeah.
But when
Yeah.
Sergio Perez started that whole streak of, Q1 eliminations,
Mm-hmm.
that should have been a huge telltale sign. That should have been a huge, and
Yeah.
not just for Sergio, but it should have been a much
Yeah.
bigger telltale sign for us and for all the F1 community that Red Bull's wheels were falling off. And I don't think we felt
Yeah.
that until really we got towards the break and Lando won, and then you had that streak of Max didn't win for 6 races, right? Merck had those wins, and
I think it was maybe even 7 or 8 or something. Maybe even.
but once you hit 5 straight. Like, wow, okay,
Yeah.
it's not. It's the whole landscape's changed, and it's
Yeah.
changed for real.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't know if it was a fluke at first,
Mm-hmm.
because I think
Mm-hmm.
going into last season, we were talking about Max winning 22 races,
Yeah.
21. Like, who was going to beat him? And that didn't happen.
Nope.
Final statistics for you here. After Sergio Perez's decently long career, how many races did he race? You got that in front of you for Red Bull?
No.
But regardless, what percentage of the time did he finish on podium? Want to guess?
No.
No, you don't want to guess. You don't give me a number.
5%?
5 points. If you give me 5 points, I'll give you the bell. What was that?
5%?
5% is not correct. Over the course of Sergio Perez's career with Red Bull, he podium 36%.
Oh, it's just Red Bull. I was going for his whole career.
Oh, Red Bull. No, Red Bull. I'm sorry if we
Red Bull?
on that. I think I just gave it to you, but I guess you didn't hear.
No, I didn't hear it.
All right, that's fine. It's for Red Bull. He has Red Bull career. I don't know if his career's over in F1.
30?
Yeah, almost 36. I'll give you a bell on that. 36. Most of those
Right.
coming in his first few seasons.
Yeah.
Lots and lots
Yeah.
of 1-2s.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
1-2s to 6-10s. That's a kick in the nuts.
To not even in the points.
Yeah. Yeah. Like a 4-10 week was like a good weekend these past few months for Red Bull.
Yeah.
Really. But Red Bull can what are the odds that Red Bull bounces back and is winning races consistent? Let me put it this way. What are the odds of Red Bull coming back and kicking everyone's ass in 2025?
Oh, anything's
He's running away with
They got Max Verstappen. The car can be rubbish like it was at the end of the season. He still put the car up front. Even when the car's duff, he puts it up front. So they can absolutely still win races. They got Max Verstappen.
Oh, yeah. They're going to win races. I think it's going to be...
I mean,
this is going to be the most fun offseason that we've had in a long time.
yeah,
So many
a lot of
driver lineup
anticipation.
changes.
Yeah.
So much, and we will be here with you the entire time. Thank you, everyone, of course, as you're listening. Thank you to FeedSpot, who hit us up again for the 2025 now top 25 podcast to listen to. So check that out. I think we dropped a couple points from last year because we weren't shouting those guys out. So it'll help us in the rankings, pick up a couple of spots. But thank you all. That's an incredible honor to be listed to any top 25 anything. So appreciate that and appreciate everyone listening. We're going to be with you guys all off season. So if there's breaking news or something going on, we'll try to get you a podcast within 24 hours or so of things breaking. And of course, hit us up in paddock.usa@gmail.com. Connect with us that way. And we're working on a whole social media plan. I know we've been like absent or barely visible on social media or whatever. But we're going to hire someone. We're going to have some new member of the team to help us out with some of the social media stuff and all that. So, because we have no idea what the hell we're doing. We just make more of a mess when we go on these things. So
That's facts.
Those are facts. So we're going to be expanding, and because of how amazing our audience has been, how amazing everyone's been, and everyone over there at Apple Podcasts, and everyone over at Spotify, and Good Pods, and all those companies have been awesome. Just awesome. It's been such a cool journey, and we hope to continue that journey and keep boosting up as we enjoy climbing higher and higher in the rankings, from complete bottom of the ocean to maybe seeing the light, maybe on the ocean surf. So thank you all. Anything to add, my brother, before we go?
As always, stay medicated, my friends. Have some Christmas trees. Enjoy.
Jingle all the way. We'll speak to you guys soon. Peace.